Wow, Donald Trump just wrapped up a disastrous press conference in the Oval Office with Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney. Just take a look at Prime Minister Carney's face right here. It tells you everything you need to know. Donald Trump was asked by the press, is there anything that Prime Minister Carney could say to you today that you will stop tariffing Canada? Donald Trump says, nope. Here, play this clip.
Is there anything the Prime Minister can say to you today to change your mind on tariffing Canada?
Tariffing cars?
Tariffing Canada. Is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
Next, Donald Trump says that he wishes the press would stop asking him about doing trade deals already. He's saying, stop asking me about the deals. Here, play this clip.
Simple. It's very simple. So I wish they'd keep, stop asking, how many deals are you signing this week? Because one day we'll come and we'll give you 100 deals. And they don't have to sign. All they have to do is say, oh, we'll start sending our ships right now to pick up whatever we want or to bring whatever we want. It's very...
Then Donald Trump says that actually the United States does not need to sign any deals because he could simply just make up what he wants the deal to be with a counterpart on his own without even doing negotiations. So stop asking him about deals, and we don't even need to make deals. Here, play this clip.
Just to finish, we also have a situation because everyone says, when are you going to sign deals? We don't have to sign deals. We could sign 25 deals right now, Howard, if we wanted. We don't have to sign deals. They have to sign deals with us. They want a piece of our market. We don't want a piece of their market. We don't care.
It should be noted that earlier in the day, we had Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testifying on Capitol Hill. He said there have been zero communications with China regarding any trade deals at all. And as I refer to Donald Trump in my videos, I call him no deals Donald, never a good negotiator, always a destroyer, never a builder. Speaking of which, Donald Trump tries to do the 51st state bit a little bit here before Prime Minister Carney, but Prime Minister Carney's not having it. It's not funny. It's not a bit. You're talking about annexation and threats of war. Prime Minister Carney says Canada is never, ever for sale. Here, play this clip.
As a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person. But when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be. But, I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that, there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway, because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
Donald Trump, in pathetic, immature fashion, then tries to go never say never, and Prime Minister Carney says never. Never. Watch this clip.
They have, I must say, Canada is stepping up the military participation because Mark knew, they were low and now they're stepping it up. And that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
Then Donald Trump starts to randomly talk about California Governor Gavin Newsom. Apparently, Trump is obsessed with Newsom, and Trump is lying and saying that he gave Newsom the water and that there wouldn't be fires if Newsom would have taken the water quicker. As our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, writes, most people who are really dumb like this are relatively harmless. This one is not. Play this clip.
And they got involved with this project. And Gavin, I always liked Gavin. I had a good relationship with him. I just got him a lot of water. I sent in people to open up that water because he refused to do it. And we just got him a lot of water. If they would have had that water and if they would have done what I said to do, they wouldn't have had the fires in Los Angeles. Those fires would have been put out very quickly.
Now, it should be noted that after the fires were fully contained in Los Angeles, Donald Trump sent the Army Corps of Engineers up to kind of central or northern California to release water that would not actually reach Los Angeles. And he released water that was actually necessary for a potentially dry summer season. And he put water into areas where it was absolutely not needed after the fires were contained. So he can claim that he turned on a faucet. It should also be noted that Donald Trump thinks that Canada borders California because Trump previously talked about opening the faucet or turning on the faucet from Canada into California. Maybe that's why he's talking about Gavin Newsom. Then Donald Trump in this disastrous Oval Office press conference mentions the other disastrous press conference he had with President Zelensky, where he goes, "Oh, we had a little blow up." Here, play this clip.
Very friendly. We're not, this is not going to be like, we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different, this is a very friendly conversation, but
Donald Trump then goes on to further attack Canada and say lies about Canada and saying that it is hard to justify subsidizing Canada at all. Here, play this clip.
This is very friendly. We're not, this is not going to be like, we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different, this is a very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada. And we put tariffs on cars from Canada. And at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of, past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us. And there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically. I assume they can. I will tell you that Trudeau, when I spoke to him, I used to call him Governor Trudeau. I think that probably didn't help his election. But when I spoke to him, I said, so why are we taking your cars? Why are we taking we want to make them ourselves. I mean, I said, and if the price of your cars went up or if we put a tariff on your cars of 25%, what would that mean to you? He said, that would mean the end of Canada. He actually said that to me. And I said, that's a strange answer, but I understand his answer. But no, I mean, it's hard to justify subsidizing Canada to the tune of maybe $200 billion a year. We protect Canada militarily, and we always will. We're going to, that's not a money thing. But we always will. But, it's not fair. But why are we subsidizing Canada $200 billion a year or whatever the number might be? It's a very substantial number. And it's hard for the American taxpayer to say, gee whiz, we love doing that. Thank you very much. We're going to have a very thank you.
Here, Prime Minister Carney makes a strong defense of Canada's sovereignty. As Donald Trump is asked by a reporter, what happens if Canadians don't want to be the 51st state? Would you respect that? Here, play this clip.
The 51st state,
Yeah.
if Canadians don't want it, would you respect that?
Sure, I would. But this is not necessarily a one-day deal. This is over a period of time. They have to make that decision. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may. If respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change on the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about, is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved. And this will take some time and some discussions. And that's why we're here, to have those discussions. And that is represented by who's sitting around the table.
See, the conflict is
more of Donald Trump talking about Gavin Newsom. Play this clip.
I'd love him to run for president on the other side. I'd love to see that. But I don't think he's going to be running because that one project alone, well, that and the fires and a lot of other things pretty much put him out of the race.
Donald Trump says that the United States should now be viewed as a super luxury store where you pay more money to deal with the super luxury store. So that's Donald Trump's view of what America is as a super luxury store. Play this clip.
I think my people haven't made it clear. We will sign some deals, but much bigger than that is we're going to put down the price that people are going to have to pay to shop in the United States. Think of us as a super luxury store, a store that has the goods. You're going to come and you're going to pay a price, and we're going to give you a very good price. We're going to make very good deals. And in some cases, we'll adjust. But that's where it is. And we've been ripped off by everybody for 50 years, And we're just not going to do that anymore. We can't do that. And we can't let any country do that to us. We're just not going to.
Donald Trump then brags about the basically complete and total trade embargo with China right now. And he said, because tariffs are now at 145% and you can trade at that amount, he says, we are therefore making, I guess, $1.1 trillion from China right now. I mean, this guy is a dangerous idiot. I mean, are you listening to what he's saying in front of Prime Minister Carney? Play this clip.
Yourself, they don't make the money off other countries like this. And we had a trade imbalance. We had a deficit, or they had a surplus, another way of saying it, of more than $1 trillion. Think of it, more than $1 trillion. And because of 145%, that's the only reason, but because of they have now 145% tariff, there's no trading. You can't trade with 145%. We are therefore making, in a certain way, I guess, $1.1 trillion. In other words, we're not losing $1.1 trillion. A deficit.
Donald Trump is then asked, what's the top concession you want out of Canada? And then Donald Trump says, friendship. Play this clip.
Please.
What's the top concession you want out of Canada? The top concession you want out of Canada?
Concession?
Yes.
Friendship.
But that's not a concession.
No, we're going to be friends with Canada. Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada. Canada is a very special place to me. I know so many people that live in Canada. My parents had relatives that lived in Canada, my mother in particular. And I love Canada. I have a lot of respect for the Canadians. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, how good, the great one. You happen to have a very, very good hockey player right here on the Capitals, who I have a lot of respect. He is a big, tough cookie, too. Just broke the record. And he's a great guy. And, we had the team here, and I got to know a lot of the players. But now Canada is a very special place. Yeah, please.
As Dan Wolkin says, he can recall the name of one hockey player. By the way, Gretzky's a MAGA guy. And the second one he brings up in the context of Canada is Ovechkin, a Russian who plays in Washington, D.C. Okay, Donald. Next up, Donald Trump says that he believes that he was the greatest thing to happen to Prime Minister Carney. Again, Trump is a malignant narcissist. Play this clip.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Mark Carney with us. As you know, just a few days ago, he won a very big election in Canada. And I think I was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take vote credit. His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning. So I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics, maybe even greater than mine.
And then Donald Trump just keeps on talking about former President Obama. Let me show you this. Let's play this clip.
All this money, but nobody can get these people to do anything. I mean, look. President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people and they have massive cost overruns. The job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. But he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that like never did it before. And he's got a disaster in his hands, like millions of dollars, many millions of dollars over budget. And I would love to help him with it, or somebody else. I could recommend professionals, but it was not built in a professional manner.
And then finally, to top it all off, Donald Trump says that the United States does not do a lot of business with Canada. From our standpoint, they do a lot of business with us. Play this clip.
During the campaign, Prime Minister Carney talked about the American betrayal. How did you react if Canada decided not to shop in the American store as much as before and decided to partner with other countries?
Well, we don't do much business with Canada from our standpoint. They do a lot of business with us.
Should be noted that in 2024, the United States did over $600 billion in trade with Canada, America's biggest trading partner, including $350 billion in exports and $250 billion in imports. And that's how Donald Trump is treating Canada. I have a feeling that Canada is going to be elbows up for the foreseeable future, will not be traveling to the United States, and will be continuing their boycott of all things American. I think that they see utter weakness in Donald Trump there. I think Prime Minister Carney was there making a strong statement about Canada's sovereignty, although I think we could perhaps even debate the merits of if he should have showed up there or not. I mean, it's just a complete and utter mess. You tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers, and thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.